I'm a longtime New York, New Jersey-based actor that left 14 years ago. So this is my, fifth or sixth time working at SITNIK. So it's a real homecoming for me. And now I'm a full-time faculty member at Ohio University, heading the performance program. So I'm balancing teaching with professional acting still and directing. And then I was here fall of 2015, so just a little bit over a year ago, playing Tammy Faye in Tammy Faye's final audition. And that continues to be a project in development and evolution. And here I am. It's about an American family. And it's about the ways in which one family may differ from another, and it's what constitutes a family, and the steps they take to create their version of the American family are not unlike any American family. They're dysfunctional, they're not like the other families. There's dysfunctional relationships, there's functional relationships, but I think it's about growing up and creating a family. First of all, the Surrogate, specifically, very, very funny, very immediate. It feels like it's right now. The language, the dialogue, the text, the way that people are funny with each other, they feel like my friends. I am really excited by the fact that there are 5 women in it. But what interested me most about that on the first reading was that there was a woman in her 20s, a woman in her 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And even though that isn't strictly speaking 5 generations, it really falls out into more like 3. And then there's little Tallulah, so there's actually, 6 decades, and there's a baby in the womb. And the idea that the world view is not just constituted by the extreme and interesting circumstances in the play, but that the world view is provided generationally, really interests me. So what seems like a given, like why would that be a big deal at all to the 20-year-old, is something that the 50s and 60-year-olds fought for. And even though there isn't like this is a multi-generation play sense, the relationships are much more embedded in the circumstance than that, much more embedded in how they're related to each other than that. I feel like what is funny about the play is that we have these multiple ages interacting, and everybody interacts with the absolute presumption that the other person has the same worldview and the same point of view as they do. So of course you know who this person is, or of course you understand this joke, when in fact, of course you don't understand that joke. You have no idea what I'm talking about. And so that makes for fantastically realistic and vivid dialogue. And I like that my whole sense of responsibility is to the playwright. To me, it matters most that the playwright's work grows and that she sees this first production as an opportunity to have the play take the next step. This is smart, this is funny, this is ready, and it felt relevant to me without feeling important. At the center of the play is a lesbian relationship, and in the course of the play, one of the women proposes to the other, and it's a very wonderful and funny moment. And it felt political to me in a way that it hadn't before, because suddenly marriage equality felt like it was no longer a given. The idea that now it might be more pressing that Jen and Margaret get married immediately in order for their marriage to be recognized on a federal level and in order for them to have equal human rights. So how that wraps around also around motherhood, surrogacy. Is there going to be the latitude for gay couples, straight couples, to have a family if a woman is not fertile, if a man is not able? Are we going to continue to have the options? Are we going to respect science? Are we going to respect that love is love is love is love enough to allow the people who are willing and able and desire a family to have a family? And although this play does not immediately call that into question, I don't know that that won't be called into question. So I think that this family, I hope that this family ends up looking to anyone who's looking carefully like a loving family. It just might not look like a father, mother, although the family is a father and a mother. They will have had a surrogate for both of their children, and their best friends are gay, and they may be the guardians, and the one of those lesbian women already has children, and is she less of a mother because she raised her children as a lesbian? I am exhausted by the fact that we even have to be talking about this and justifying it. So yeah, it's political, and I'm afraid to talk about it that way because the play is flat out, like balls out funny, and I think people will experience it as that kind of a play. But yeah, it's really important and feels more important by the minute. Everyone in the play is really smart, self-perceptive, sometimes perceptive about the world around them, and so they're funny in the way that the people you know that are funny. And they're characters who know each other really well, so their way of talking, their way of communicating with each other and bouncing ideas off of each other is very personal, which means often it's very direct and very bald and very like, whoa, you just said that. And often things that I think, I wish I had said that to somebody. So they're a little bit smarter, I think, and a little bit quicker witted than a lot of us. So I laugh a lot at it, and I think, gosh, I always feel like I wish I'd said that thing. These are people who say the thing they wish they'd said, which is part of why they're so wonderful to listen to. What I hope you walk away with is a belief that as long as a child or children are supported by a loving community, regardless of how those parents became parents, whether it was through surrogacy, adoption of an international child, an inherited child, whatever that means, that if they're surrounded by loving people, they're not just going to be okay, they're going to be better for having had a less traditional family structure. And that we should applaud any family that are bringing children into the world with love.